Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And I gotta tell you guys, NXT was good tonight. But I think what really made NXT were the acts that I already knew that I loved. And to really highlight some, The Way, with emphasis on Johnny Gargano, because I think he's just really in his pocket right now as North American champion. Santos Escobar, who fucking killed in the main event tonight. We'll talk about that. And Swerve. And probably my favorite part of the whole show, which I know is saying a lot, given that main event, I'll give them credit, it delivered. But the hit row, damn, son. I've got a lot to say about that, and I'm hoping you do too. But I'm going to hand the baton over to you, dear friend. How did you feel about NXT tonight?
I feel like this was a tale of two shows. You could have split this show right down the middle, and the first half was a snooze fest to me, and the second half felt like the kind of NXT that I've been waiting to get.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from with that. Yeah, for sure.
Because that first half of that show tonight, I was like, damn, this is going to be a short-ass review because there is not a lot worth talking about. But that second half really picked it up big time. And the second half of the show, to me, there's enough to talk about that we're probably going to go our usual hour tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. I ain't going to waste any time. I have complaints about this show, but I already aired them out last week. It's just repetition, the Cameron Grimes stuff, etc., Karrion Kross, all that stuff. So do you have any unique complaints tonight?
Well, let's see. I didn't like the first match. It's probably not surprising, though, given who was in it. Oh, they keep giving Pete Dunn mic time, and that's a bad decision, in my opinion. He's really bad on the mic. I even literally said in the Discord today, Pete Dunn might be the worst promo, the worst male, specifically male promo in WWE that gets regular mic time.
Dude, just to kind of stay on this a little bit, because then I know that's going to save time when we actually get to Pete Dunn's whole thing with Leon Ruff tonight and everything. I was watching Pete Dunn compete, and you want to know what my thought process was? I said, I really like how his stuff looks in there. I really do. Like, it looks vicious, it looks crisp, it looks sound. And I'm like, the dude's still, in his late 20s. I don't even think he's hit his 30s yet. So that gives me hope that he can pivot somehow. This dude, to me, is so close to being the William Regal of his generation. Because Regal, especially if you watch his WCW stuff, everything he does in there is clean, it's vicious. I recently, a few weeks ago, watched a 6-minute match that he had with Benoit when he was part of the Four Horsemen and shit.
Yeah.
And even though it was 6 minutes, it was physical as shit. And Pete Dunne's got that down to a science. He is so good at making his stuff look physical. But the biggest difference between Dunn and Regal to me was Regal had charisma for days. Yep. I mean, I remember the segments this guy would do. I remember Raw Roulette when he was feuding with Goldust, and he dressed up as a Las Vegas showgirl. I remember the whole thing with Eugene, where he's the fastidious, serious guy, and Eugene teaches him to lighten up, and it actually was done well for the time. I mean, again, I was a child then, so my standards weren't as high. But, this is a dude that's never been afraid to make a fool of himself, that has charisma emanating off every pore, but when that bell rings, he'll fucking murder you.
Dude, I really do believe that a willingness to look foolish in public is the number one most valuable trait for any entertainer to have, period.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, dude, so long as Pete Dunne doesn't exhibit that quality, he's never going to reach that William Regal level that I really believe he could reach. Now, some would argue, kayfabe, well, Regal was never a world champion. That was because of his own personal poor decisions, and even he himself has said that.
And to be fair, it seems like Dunn has a really good head on his shoulders.
He does, and dude, that's why I'm going this hard on him, though, because I like Dunn as a person. He seems like a good dude. He seems responsible for what we know. We know in this culture today that could change on a dime. But in this moment, good dude. I like him. I'm rooting for him. But god damn, get a personality, bro, because that's really all he's missing. I'm watching that match tonight, and I'm like, everything he does looks so good in there. From an in-ring standpoint, he could almost get me interested in a match with Karrion Kross, because I believe he could make even Kross look vulnerable. But if you don't have anything compelling about you on the mic, and I don't even want to hear the excuse of, well, his charisma's in the ring. I think with the kind of style he specializes in, that doesn't translate very well. Like an RVD, I could understand that, right? Because at the time he was doing exciting, scintillating shit. Dunn, he's very to the mat, punch you in the mouth kind of thing. Doesn't translate as well. He needs to learn to talk, or he needs to learn again to make a fool of himself, or be a fool every once in a while. But like, he's such a tight ass.
It's honestly, it's kind of funny when you think about it, because for the longest time, we even, you know, I don't think there's ever been a time that we didn't shit on Trent Seven. Just because like he doesn't have a great look, and he kind of feels like he's holding back the Mustache Mountain duo and the what's the name of the group that also includes Dunn? Something Strong Style, I forget. British Strong Style,
yeah.
And so like we're always shitting on him because it feels like he's holding them back because of how much worse he is in the ring than Dunn and Bate. And realistically, he's still not terrible in the ring. He's just not good in the ring. He's not great.
Right.
At the end of the day, the one thing that he has that neither one of those guys is really good at is the promo skills. Trent Seven can cut a goddamn promo. He's a charismatic, charming dude. And now, thinking about it, I get why he's in the group, because that's something that he brings to the group that neither other guy has.
Yeah, and it's such a shame, because just to circle back to your heat of the night, just to show everybody I didn't lose the thread, I do agree with you that I think NXT does give him too much mic time. And you can make the argument, well, like, he's only going to get better if you put him in front of that mic. But, like, he hasn't, though. He hasn't really, like, yeah, I've never really seen him try or go outside of his comfort zone. I think he has one lane, one note that he's very comfortable staying in. And if he's comfortable staying in it, he's never going to go beyond it. So
You know, it's funny because you mentioned Regal really going out of his comfort zone and doing, like, the Vegas school, showgirl stuff and stuff like that. To me, the best thing, the most entertaining, the most charismatic Pete Dunne that I've ever seen was when he played the annoyed big brother role in The Bruiser Mates with Millie McKenzie.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you actually give him a character to work and you give him an angle to work like that, he, like, maybe it really is just because he was just being himself and he was just being that, like, straight-faced, you know, straight man, I guess you could say. But to me, that's the most entertaining type shit that he's done.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Paul. The only reason why we say he needs to learn how to talk is because we know WWE is going to keep putting a mic in his hand. Like, WWE isn't going to accentuate the positives and hide the negatives. I don't even know if they know how to do that. Or at least, maybe I should be a bit more pointed, I don't know if they care to do that with acts that maybe they're not going to take as far as other acts.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you, if Karrion Kross, which I think he already has shown deficiencies, Karrion Kross is probably going to get even better booking on the main roster. Because I never see him having even like a 10-minute match on the main roster, honestly. So, you know, because they're going to put a lot of money in him. I just feel it. Dunn, I don't know where Dunn's going to sit with the company again, given that he's still relatively young. Yeah, so I don't know. But just to put a pin on your heat of the night, I do agree he's getting too much mic time. And, yeah, anything else you want to air out?
I think that's about it as far as heat of the night that just isn't super repetitive. There's something that I didn't like, but I can't, like, gripe about it because it's something that I wanted. So I feel like it's not fair to be like, oh, this was bad, therefore heat of the night. It's more of just like, oh, well, this turned out to be way worse than I thought it would, so maybe not again.
So you want to just get more into that when we get to the actual segment then?
Yeah, I think that'd be better for the format of the show. So let's just get into this.
Sure, okay. Let's get into our NXT review. We're going to skip the first match because that was Cross Theory, and it was really a nothing burger. Theory gets destroyed as expected. Kushida and Raquel arrive at NXT. We get a Regal and Ruff segment. I already saw this on YouTube, so it's funny that they replayed it here. Ruff wants to compete. Regal's like, no, you know, I don't feel comfortable. I saw how you got brutalized. I'm not letting you compete tonight. Ruff said, I thought you'd say that. I went to the medical team. They cleared me. And Regal said something like, you know, you're not cleared to compete for me, like, on a tolerance level. I can't tolerate you competing in the division you are now. Give yourself a little bit more time. Ruff explodes. He clears off Regal's desk very aggressively. You know, what do I got to do, huh? What do I got to do? And he's like, you're not competing tonight. Leave now. And again, like, it's so funny that I even bring up the Regal parallel with the Heat of the Night segment with Dunn, because even in the segments Regal got tonight, he perfectly illustrated my point, especially the office segment he had with Johnny Gargano later in the show.
Yes, that was so good.
Which we'll get to that.
That was early in this show, too. That was right after the first match. Or right after the second match.
Brizango versus MSK. Again, I really don't have much to say here. They did some inventive stuff, including the ref doing a vertical leap.
Yeah, that was cool. He did like the drop-down leapfrog combo.
Yeah. So MSK ultimately wins. I think the bigger story here, though, is that commentary kept highlighting, and Brizango definitely demonstrated after the match, frustration with them being on a losing streak. So I'm going to hand it to you real quick, partner. Do you think a dissolution of this team is coming, or do you think the team as a package deal is turning heel?
I don't want them to break up if it's not going to lead to them both finding singles success. Like, if their best shot at success is to stay a tag team and just turn heel, fine, I'm down with that. But if there's a possibility that we could get Breeze going after maybe the Cruiserweight title, maybe even the North American title, and Fandango finally, for the first time since he beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, getting a singles push, I'd be down for that. But, like, I feel like those cards aren't really in play, so them turning heel as a team is probably their best bet.
I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen either of these guys be heel. So, because it's been so long.
That's because of the fucking Fashion Files. That turned them face, like, permanently, I feel like.
Yeah. So, like, if they go heel or they split up, I'm honestly good with either, because we've had so much space from either them doing singles or them being heel that it feels like a novel experience because of how much distance they have.
The only way I disagree with you is that Breeze did just get a little bit of a singles run while Dango was off hurt, and he got like a Cruiserweight title shot, and I think he even challenged for the North American title at one point, like last year or the year before that.
That is fair. Really, I gotta be honest, I'm far more curious about Johnny Curtis if you let him go this time around.
Fandango, exactly, yes.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, I keep mentioning him every time like he's in conversation and it's relevant. Ever since those promos I saw him cut, how he wanted to get in the ring with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, I'm like, oh, that's how he sees himself. I want to see him that way too. Like, let's fucking do it. Let's go. So I don't know what the future of this team is, but I do like that they're getting some direction. I feel like NXT, and I'm not saying they're always successful at it, I feel like NXT's kind of entered this mindset of let's use every piece available. Because, like, Brizango's a lower tier tag team, and even they are trying to figure out something to do with them. We know Everrise is doing their own thing, because at one point in the show they were sitting behind commentary with an Everrise Live sign. So, like, NXT is like all hands on deck kind of mentality. And I don't hate it, but it's going to be hit or miss, depending on how you feel about certain acts. So solid matchup. MSK wins. They call out LDF afterwards. And again, Brizango visibly frustrated, so we'll have to see what comes of that. Then we get Gargano and Regal. And Gargano storms in, and Regal just seems even a bit chipper at first. Like, oh yeah, I was expecting you. I even left the door open for you so you could walk right in. Oh, so you finally got time for me. Like, yeah, I do. And he's like, are you serious about Bronson Reed getting his championship match against me next week? Which, by the way, before it slips my mind, we find out later in the show that it's going to be a steel cage match.
Well, that's only because Gargano and Theory attacked Reed in his locker room.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, and by the way, while I'm kind of hyping up stuff, the one worthwhile thing we did get from the Cross Theory matchup, Balor shows up after the match. They're like, I want my rematch. So we know in 2 weeks we're getting both that and Frankie Monet's in-ring debut, which I want to talk about that a bit later as well.
Dude, what's also really interesting is I saw that June 12th or 16th, maybe? It might have been, I don't remember.
I think you're thinking,
13th.
Bro, yeah, you're thinking 13th takeover in your house, right?
Yeah, there's a new takeover in your house happening. Wow, I thought it was like, you're really going to do this in 2 weeks on the 25th, and then literally just like another 2 weeks and a few days, you're going to have a takeover. I was like, what the hell are you, like, are they going to really rush something? Is there just going to be like a non-finish maybe to the Cross Balor match to the point that they're going to have a rematch then at TakeOver in your house or something? Because that's weird.
Honestly, bro, I just assumed they were going to get O'Reilly Cross at TakeOver in your house. That's just what I thought.
I didn't even think about that. Shit, I forgot they didn't get their match in yet. Shit.
Yeah. And that is one thing, and what did we say, dude, at the very beginning of Cross and Raquel's title reigns? You need contenders lining up out the door, and I do think they've done a good job with that with carrying Cross so far. Because you've got Balor
Raquel
in 2
less
weeks.
So. Raquel, it feels
Raquel
like
less so. Yeah. But with Cross, you've got Balor in 2 weeks. You're probably going to get Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver in your house. And I'm assuming they're going to do Dunn Cross. Because I think with Cross in their minds, they're kind of playing him as a tweener so that he has all the options open. Which, again, is smart. Because he's boring as shit. So at least if you keep him as a tweener personality-wise, you could put anybody face or heel in there just to fatten up the title reign. So I think they're playing their cards smart booking-wise at least. But yeah, we know that that's happening. But yeah, the Gargano-Regal segment. Gargano's apoplectic. That, he's got this match next week with Bronson Reed. And he's like, what's your problem with me, huh? Why do you hate me? He's like, I don't hate you. You're very valued to the North American champion. Plus our I don't know if he said production team or our design team made you the white headband. And Gargano's like, well, they are really nice headbands. And they're like, yeah, they are really nice headbands. So I don't see what the problem is. And Johnny gets so angry, he's about to touch the brass knucks. And Regal just looks at him and he's like, don't you dare touch those. Almost like stern father, William Regal. And then Johnny, not breaking eye contact, grabs Regal's pencil that was in his hand, breaks it over his knee, and then throws it back at Regal. This is amazing. I love this. Oh, God, Johnny's so good.
He really is.
And I gotta tell you, man, Regal is the best authority figure WWE has had. Really, I would honestly even say since the Ruthless Aggression era with Stephanie and Bischoff. I love how low-key this dude is, but when you get him in a segment, again, that charisma that Pete Dunne sorely lacks right now, it really just emanates. And especially in back and forths like this, I loved it. Regal was great here. Then we get Pete Dunne's promo. We already kind of talked about Pete Dunne's mic skills. He's more or less like, Cross is ducking me. I don't blame him because when I get in the ring with him, the title's mine. He lays out an open challenge for anybody to prove that they're the toughest person in NXT. Blah, blah, blah. Ruff attacks from behind because he's just itching to compete. Then we do Dunn versus Ruff. Again, really not much to say here. Dunn wins via ref stoppage after a triangle elbow combo. He gets him in a triangle, just elbowing him in the top of the head, knocking him the fuck out. Then in the post-match, he broke his fingers, right? Or was it his arm? Because I know Ruff was in, like, a lot of pain.
Well, he was cranking on the fingers. Yeah, I think he was cranking on the fingers. I don't know if he broke anything, though. I might have missed that. I might have just not paid attention, honestly.
I'm probably the same as you.
Yeah, Dunn at this point just bores me so much that I tend to kind of fade in and out of watching NXT intently when he's on.
Yeah.
We got an LDF promo.
We did. How did you feel about Joaquin Wilde, Raul Mendoza, and Daddy? Escobar. That's what I meant.
You were right the first time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So how did you feel about it?
It was fine. I mean, I'm loving that Wilde and Mendoza are being able to talk more now. I really like that. Mendoza impressed me on the mic too tonight. He's really good.
Dude, I gotta say, for as much griping, and I'm gonna be real with you all, because, like, I even told Ashton this tonight, because he's like, yo, bro, do you want to play Rocket League until 8, before the show? And I'm like, no, I gotta make food up, but I wouldn't mind playing it during NXT, because, like, fuck that show. Like, NXT has really taken a lot of my interest the last several months, but keeping perspective, I always love success stories like Raul Mendoza. How many weeks did we watch this dude just have either like solid matches or just squash matches where he's the one getting squashed? Yeah. And now he's in a faction that's legitimately cool and he gets talking time. Like, I love stories like that.
Not only that, but how many times did we really like notice and feel like there was a lot to be had from his tag team with Humberto?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like, yeah. I could have seen them being tag team champions on the main roster. They were that good. And it lasted all of, 3 months maybe 5 at most.
Yeah. And now he found this, and it's like he's really hit the ground running.
Yeah, Mendoza is one of those guys that we've been kind of praising for a hell of a lot longer than he's been getting pushed like someone that deserves praise.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, dude, Mendoza is at such a level that if they would have continued Escobar's title reign, really made it something legendary, and they would have built up Mendoza alongside Wilde, I wouldn't have minded because all factions disintegrate. I'm just enjoying LDF while we have them. I wouldn't have minded if Mendoza was the one to knock Escobar off his perch. Obviously, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Mendoza's got the
I would definitely not mind Mendoza as a future Cruiserweight champion.
Certainly not, and I got to give Wilde his credit too, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. This tag team works for him. Being in a faction, I think you want to talk about accentuating the positives and hiding the negatives. Like Paul William Gregory said like they should do with Pete Dunne. I feel like they do that with Joaquin Wilde. I think he works so much better in a team where everything he's good at in the ring can be accentuated. Because as a single star, he is kind of meh. And maybe that's changed. Maybe, you know, if he does go back to singles after all this, I'll be like, oh, well, that time did him good. But, I mean, of course,
I still remember the Zima Ion days, man. No thank you.
Yeah. But I gotta tell you, we all know the real star, the crown fucking jewel, Escobar, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That dude, in every sense of the fucking phrase,
I think he reminded me more of Roman Reigns on tonight's show than he ever has before.
Oh my God! You know, I've been talking with Javaris, and we're getting some investors together to get the ultimate tax bracket on this man being NXT champion. Nice. Because this dude deserves world title gold. It's gotta fucking happen, and I've got plenty more praise to lavish on him in the main event, but we're a little ways away from that. So moving on, we get, of course, the Frankie Monet little thing that she's going to debut in 2 weeks. I love how they've been building Frankie Monet, dude. I think this is perfect.
She is really, I think it's like they gave this big build to Xia Li, and they really made her out to be a big deal, and I was like, why? But now they're doing it for someone that I'm like, yes, like this is like, it's like the Goldilocks, man. It's like where we've got the amazing NXT presentation and build meeting together with somebody who's talented enough to own it.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Absolutely.
We need this more often. We need them to dedicate these awesome gimmicks and this awesome build to more people that actually really earn that level of esteem and prestige.
Yes, because I love that with this character, they made a big deal out of her just arriving in NXT. Yeah. And now they're making a big deal about her actually competing in NXT. They're hitting every right. If it wasn't
for Xia Li, I would say that she has been the most hyped up female superstar in NXT in years.
Yeah.
But Xia Li got way cooler vignettes.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see her debut. I'm kind of hoping she faces either Shotzi or Ember, and particularly Shotzi, because Prince Presley did shit in her tank.
Yes.
So, but you know what, though?
That would be a very, very cool way for her to debut, is by beating Shotzi, just because that kind of establishes where she stands in the division. That's like a statement win right out the gate.
Oh, my God. But you know what, dude? I'm honestly thinking, given that in 2 weeks, so 2 weeks from tonight, would be the 25th.
Yep.
You know what? Why not, just a suggestion, why not give her like a Zeta Ramir or somebody like that, and then at TakeOver in your house we do Frankie Monet versus Shotzi? Because I think both those women deserve a TakeOver stage, honestly, and it would be cool to have a non-women's championship match.
I would support that. But also, just because it feels like Raquel is kind of out of challengers for now, I would also be very okay with Frankie debuting and beating Shotzi next 2 weeks from now, and then challenging Raquel for the title at TakeOver. Like, that quickly. Like, I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't think you can make a misstep with Frankie Monet, at least at this moment, because I think they're doing everything right, more or less. Yeah. We'll have to see where they go from here.
Yeah.
After that, though, speaking of Raquel, it's funny
you
mention that. We get the title match, and Raquel's one of the luckiest NXT Women's Champions in recent memory, because she got to win the title off Io, which was her best match. I don't think the Martinez match unseated that, because Io's on a whole other level, obviously. But I got to give credit to Mercedes. She brought the fight to Raquel, and she gave this match some compelling moments. I, for one, enjoyed it. I like the story of Mercedes being the hungry veteran, finally, wanting to get hers.
Yeah.
But obviously it wasn't meant to be. But I apologize, man, because it seemed like you were about to say something. What did you want to say about this?
I feel like this match got really sloppy towards the end. I feel like one or both of them were gassed out or something, because there was one exchange when Mercedes, ran the ropes really slowly. I don't know if she was injured or if she was just, blown up or what. And it looked like she was going to do something to Raquel, and she ended up just kind of standing there, and Raquel didn't react to her, so she just started clubbing her on the back, and then there was another weird awkward thing where they they did like a double clothesline, but it looked like it wasn't supposed to be a double clothesline. It looked like it was supposed to be a one-person clothesline, and they just both fell down. Like, it was really awkward. And then Raquel's powerbomb at the end, it looked like she had to deadlift Mercedes. I'm hoping Mercedes didn't get injured in this, but if she didn't, I have to wonder if maybe she got blown up at some point in this match, and that's why she struggled to finish it.
Maybe, man. I don't know, because I think I saw a little bit of what you're talking about. God, they're really making the Raquel like this insurmountable kind of champion because, you know, Mercedes hit her with everything, including a Fisherman Buster. And the thing is, I didn't even like how Raquel sold the Fisherman Buster, because even the way she sold it, you just knew like she was going to kick out. Which, I mean, again, we knew anyway, but she made it really obvious. Because she was favoring her back rather than looking like dazed. Like, I feel like you should sell a Fisherman Buster, at least from my experience seeing Mercedes do the move. I like the repeated Kamigoyes that Mercedes hit, but in a way, again, because of the way Raquel is booked, it kind of diminishes the move a little bit.
I was just going to say that. I don't like that she did that, because it's like you're using this move that has so much credibility behind it, and you're just using it as like a mid-match wear him down so I can hit a bigger move kind of move. I hated that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like they gave it their best effort. I can definitely see where you're coming from. I know there was like some kind of top rope or top turnbuckle neck breaker that Mercedes hit at one point. That looked pretty good, kind of devastating offense. I think she got a spear on the apron at one point. So it really showed the story of like Mercedes trying to throw everything at Raquel and it not being good enough. And again, they're still teasing that inevitable to me Dakota Kai Raquel confrontation.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll even be a takeover in your house. I don't know, but I feel like they're going to build that up for a bigger takeover. Maybe even the takeover before SummerSlam. You know, you don't know, but yeah, they're definitely still telegraphing that. So after that, we get Swerve's entourage arriving in NXT. And I love it because the cameraman falls down, and the guy that we learned is named Top Dollar. He looks at him, he's like, "Man, get up! It wasn't that bad." Like, I love it. And then
that's like your favorite heel energy is like they beat the shit out of someone and then call them pussies for selling it. Like,
yes. No matter what you do, you're always in the right. That is my number one rule for heels, baby. I love it.
Or really, no matter what anyone else does, they are always in the wrong.
So proud of you.
Oh my god, you actually got all quiet and emotional. Jesus.
We get Gargano in theory assaulting Bronson Reed and Bronson Reed in a few octaves above monotone, surprisingly. Johnny Gargano's a dead man. Yeah, he was a very angry dinosaur man.
Wait, dinosaur man? You mean because of the whole thing?
Yeah, he wants to be a dinosaur.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. I'm not going to.
Yeah. But then we get, my God, honestly, I want you to talk first on this considerably, because I already know how I feel, and I was far more curious the whole night how you felt about this. The hit row.
Dude!
Take it away, bro.
Oh, I'm so into this, first of all, just to get that out of the way. Spoiler alert, I love it. I love just the intro even. Swerve comes out and we get all the lights turn out and we get a spotlight on Swerve. He says, "It's about to get real spooky here in NXT." And then we get new music and I love their music. It's so good. And then they come out and the Tron says hit row, and it's Swerve and his group that we saw them last week, I think it was, leaving the building. And he gets on the mic. He actually has his own little chair in the room, or in the ring, and he says that he's done pretending to be what people perceive him to be, the whole Swerve confident thing. That's not him. He is a savage, and he wants to start taking what he thinks is his, and he introduces his group, and the big dude that we saw assault Leon Ruff, his name is Top Dollar, and he's called that because he makes top dollar every day. Apparently, he's a former NFL player. Apparently, he has been on the A&E network, etc., and he even drops some bars, and he's actually good. Then we get Ashanti the Adonis, and I'm stoked about him because I've seen a lot in him since literally the first time that we saw him do something other than get squashed in a match. Then he basically just warns people not to mess with him. Then we get to hear from the woman, and the woman, we've known her previously as Brianna Brandy, but here she's being called BFAB now, because she be fabulous. And she apparently rapped on tour with Juicy J. She brings the bars too. She calls herself the dime that makes the deals. And then they do this, the group pose, and Swerve says, together we produce hits. We are Hit Row. And if you didn't know, now you know. I love it.
Okay, I have a lot to say here, and I want to be careful about one of my remarks because...
I loved Ashanti's fit, by the way.
Yeah. He looked great.
If Seth wants to be a little more fucking fashion positive, learn from Ashanti the Adonis, for real.
Hells yeah. So, okay, again, a lot to say about this, and I want to be careful with my opening remarks because, I know that we have two Black wrestling fans in the audience in Javaris and Foster, but when I'm watching these guys...
I don't know, is Dominique here? He said in the chat that he loved it in Discord.
Yeah, and I know Foster said it was like, I think he said either eh or meh. I don't know if I'm missing a letter there, and I'd like to get more of his thoughts in the chat if he wants to share them. I couldn't help but smile, and here's why I want to be careful, because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but so you had Hurt Business before they broke up, which was horrendous, but I love that it was a heel group that wasn't a caricature. It was like straight up Black Pride, Black Success. It was pretty much Black Wall Street and a heel faction form to me, because they're wearing the best suits.
Black excellence, right?
Black fucking excellence, right? And it's done in a classy, almost like Evolution-esque, type way, because the suits and the limousines, all that stuff. Why this is even more impressive to me, and again, I want to be careful here, because we know WWE has kind of stereotyped hip-hop culture before. I mean, obviously John Cena was their big hit, and then Vince, wearing the do-rag when he was ECW champion and that whole cringe shit. And, I feel like when they've tried to do this with Black performers, Crime Time immediately comes to mind. You've got the grills and certain aesthetic that's not all it is. And I love that this seems to be more of an authentic representation of, the hip-hop underground, right? This doesn't look cartoony. This doesn't look like a caricature. This looks like real fucking people with real fucking bars that make tracks together. That's why we didn't even know it at the time, or I shouldn't put anything on you. I should say I didn't know it at the time. But it really seems like those Swerve's House vignettes where he was talking, they were kind of teasing this group the whole time.
Yeah.
Not explicitly.
They were there in the background, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. And I love it. I love that none of these people are a fucking stereotype. And again, it's even more impressive to me because I think if you have enough thoughtfulness and you're open-minded enough, which I know is a lot to ask for somebody like Vince McMahon, you can do a group like the Hurt Business pretty easily. But I think it takes a hell of a lot. And I know it's two different teams and stuff like that, but I still think it takes a hell of a lot to do something that's been so thoroughly caricatured like this. These people, because Ashante even mentioned World Star. He said, I'm fitting to be on World Star. And, it's so easy to make that a joke.
If you step to us, I'm gonna make it Real World Star or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so easy to make that, a caricature or one note or, really, this is the representation with everything going on. This is what you're going to give the Black wrestling fan base. And, again, I would never want to speak for them. Foster had a certain opinion. Dominic Adams loved it. And Javaris just said he really liked it. And to me, I'm like, this is the kind of representation they deserve. Because I didn't see any jokes here. I didn't see anybody made less of here. These people all looked fucking legit. Top Dollar had me fucking smiling for days.
Dude, just seeing him before he even opened his mouth, I was like, this dude could be a star.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. He's got the presence. He's got the charisma. Not to pile on this poor dude, because he's going to have to wipe dirt off himself because he's dead. But I'm like, this dude got me more interested in whatever he's going to do next than Pete Dunn has the last several months. And that just shows you how important talking is. Swerve, oh my God. I think I'm always going to, in a way, prefer this dude as a face, because Swerve can say what he wants as a character. He was cool as fuck as a face, too. This dude is just cool no matter what he is. And that's really, really heartening to see. But, man, him just sitting in the middle of that ring, surrounded by his crew, just being like, we run this shit now, emanating that energy. I loved it, man. He's like, that isn't who Swerve is. Whose house? Swerve's house, this and that. He's like, no, Swerve's a savage. And you got Top Dollar and B-Fab and everybody just agreeing with him. And, yeah, he is, and this and that. And I love, because at first, I didn't know if they were all wrestlers or if like maybe just the men were and like the woman was like or BFAB, excuse me, was like a valet or whatever. This makes every division more exciting.
She is a wrestler in training.
Yeah. Yeah, like I feel like every division has gotten better for this having happened. Yeah. Because if you want to do what's Ashanti's name, by the way, in this group?
I think they just call him Ashanti.
Okay, yeah, so Ashanti, if Ashanti and Top Dollar want to be in the tag division, gets an upgrade. Swerve, North American / NXT title picture, hell the fuck yes. Nowhere less. BFAB as a wrestler in training, that's a bit tentative. I don't obviously want to rush somebody in training to the NXT.
She's been like she's had matches like all right. She's been around for a couple years.
Right. But like we take a temperature, we see how she does, for ourselves. Maybe a viable NXT Women's Championship contender. We don't know.
She signed in August 2019. So we're looking at just about 2 years now of experience.
Yeah. Like, I am just so happy that this happened, because I'll tell you, if you really wanted to do something to get me on board with Swerve as a heel, giving him his own faction was fucking it. And you know what, dude? What makes me so happy about you loving it too, because I think you and I had similar energies last week, because we thought that Swerve was only going to get a heavy and that was it. The idea that he's got a whole crew now, that's different. That's not just one guy. He's got a whole group of friends now that want to see him succeed and want to do their own shit in NXT, and I'm here for it. NXT, with the exception of Sanity, because I really felt like they fell flat and they didn't do nearly what they could have done, I feel like NXT has a pretty good track record with factions.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good about this one, especially with Swerve as the leader, because Swerve, I mean, we've talked about how good this man is on countless podcasts. I mean, literally, people pick one. Pick a Lucha Underground one, pick a past NXT one that he was on. No
Pretty
doubt.
Much, yeah.
Like, pick one. So, him leading gives me a shit ton of confidence. And if anybody has any deficiencies in the group, by them being in a group, the same way with Joaquin Wilde, how we said earlier in LDF, that's going to be hidden while their strengths are accentuated, and we can really get acclimated to them. I reiterate, guys, for me, this is my favorite part of the show, and I can't wait for next week for these guys. Like, this is easily the act that I'm probably the most emotionally invested in right now. I am really excited to see where they go from here. Anything else you want to say about this, man?
No, I think we about covered it. I'm just really excited to see what direction they go next. Actually, one thing I will say is if these guys don't want to bother with tag shit, I would be so down for Ashanti to continue competing for the Cruiserweight title. And then Top Dollar and Swerve could both go after the respective top, like, singles men's NXT title. Like, one of them could go for the NXT World title, the other one could go for the North American title, and I wouldn't mind either one.
Bro, let me tell you something right now. If Bronson Reed manages to beat Gargano, what is it, next week? Yeah, it is next week. In that steel cage, which honestly, it becoming a steel cage match, honestly made me favor Gargano more, if I'm honest. Just because I feel like a steel cage matches open up more Weasley ways for the heel to win. But if Bronson Reed manages to win the championship and Top Dollar just lays him on his ass, I'm fucking here for it.
Dude, 100%. Yeah, I would be so here for that. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I cannot tell you how happy I am that you and I are on the same energy with this group, because it really would have bummed me out if I came in with all this energy and then it became more of like a debate rather than like, yeah, this is fucking cool. So like, yeah, on to next week. I can't wait for this. Cameron Grimes bidding vignette. I don't give a fuck. God damn it. All right. After that, we get our Stark and Tony Storm recap. They're going to face off next week. Hooray. I mean, it's good to see women not in the championship picture still doing stuff, so that is definitely a positive. Kind of hoping Tony gets the win here, though, because I'm cool with her being a legitimizer, but you got to get some wins along the way to keep that going. Then we get Kyle O'Reilly versus Lorcan. What did you think about this, man?
The O'Reilly Lorcan match was like, I'm like, whatever. It didn't really do much for me.
Is it just me, dude, or is Kyle, and I hate to say this because we know how good Kyle O'Reilly is, but is he kind of cooling down since beating Cole at TakeOver? Like, is it just me? Like, I don't know.
I almost feel like they're trying to cool him down. It feels like they're not trying to really keep him super hot. It feels like they're just kind of keeping him like down to like a simmer. Like he was boiling, and now they've turned the heat down and they're just letting him simmer for a little bit. Maybe they'll turn the heat up when they're ready to push him to the world title again.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Maybe the reason for that, though, is because they wanted to focus on Balor getting the world title shot first.
Yeah. I mean, and Foster even said, is Kyle lame? Now, I wouldn't say, like, for me, that's a bit harsh.
I mean, I still love the theme and the entrance and the new gear and everything. Like, I love the packaging. It just feels like I said, it just feels like they've lowered the heat down to a simmer.
Yeah, and I think I'm definitely inclined to agree with you there. And I'll just be interested to see how they turn the heat back up down the road. Obviously, one of the bigger stories here is Bobby Fish returned tonight. I wish I cared.
Oh, man, so the hell do I.
Yeah.
The thing, too, is, like, I think Kyle knows that we're sick of Bobby Fish already, and that we're just, like, kind of over the tag team. Because before Fish even said anything, he looked at him and he was like, listen, Bobby, I've got my own things going on now.
Yeah.
And Bobby was accepting of it, too. He was just like, listen, I've got my own scores to settle, too.
I'm sure you do, Bobber. I'm sure you do.
It's like fucking Nightwing meeting Batman in a dark alley.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I can't be Robin anymore. I got my own shit going on. And Batman's just like, yeah, man, I do too. I've got my own stuff to do too. See ya. Yeah, and then he just flees. It's like losing my parents all over again. It's the kid that I raised. Oh, God.
Yeah, Foster is making some points, though. He let Bobby down far more gently than Roddy, who we still haven't seen, by the way, anywhere. Where the fuck are you, Roderick?
Don't you remember? He left.
Yeah, but, like, we thought he debuted on SmackDown.
We're expecting him on the main roster sooner, right?
Yeah, like, we haven't seen him in WWE in general.
How much do you want to bet he debuts on the main roster within 2 weeks after WrestleMania Backlash and ends up being in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Dude, I honestly hope you're right, because if I'm being completely truthful with you and our audience, I still haven't even withdrew all of my chips, if you will, down on the prediction that he's not even done with NXT. Like, it's a kayfabe termination with NXT. And if I'm right about that, I'm going to open the show that we cover that on with a cackle. Just so hard. Be like, God
no. Oh, no.
I'm going to try and channel the best Ashton cackle I've ever heard and amplify it by at least 5. Why? Because that's the perfect obnoxious number. So, yeah, where the fuck are you, Roderick? Because I have concerns, and I definitely have opinions. So, with that, we get an Indy and Candice little thing here about how they're superheroes that rescued the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. I will say, if I had any nitpick, and the reason I didn't air out in the first segment was because I'll admit it was petty and, like, very subjective. I don't like that we didn't get any further updates with Indy and Loomis. Like, we didn't touch on that at all tonight. Loomis wasn't on the show. I feel like that's been one of your main angles, and, like, I'm genuinely invested. So I'm amazed that they didn't touch on that at all tonight.
Dude, I'm glad you're mentioning that. That should be a heat of the night for me. I really love the Index stuff that we've been getting, and it just feels like they're either done with it completely, or they're taking a break from it, or they forgot about it, which is also possible.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be charitable to them for once. I'm going to say that I'm assuming they're taking a break from it because they did just follow up with it last week before the title match. So, like, it's not like we've gone that long without it. And because it was a street fight, they're probably giving Indy and Candice time to rest. They didn't want them on this taping, and they want to give them time to rest before they rev it up. However, if we go another week without any follow-up, then it is going to be a heat of the night for me, full stop. Because I'm like, what are you doing? This is a major angle you guys were having. I miss Loomis too, bud. And Foster, I'm giving you all the hugs right now because you seem like you're going through this episode of NXT, and we love you so much. But just to round it out, Bronson Reed promo. We already know Steel Cage. You might have just I don't know, Bronson. I give up on you, honestly.
Honestly, Bronson, I got to tell you, man, I actually enjoyed this promo from Bronson.
I mean, he had good intensity. He says he's sick of Johnny. He's sick of theater. He's just sick of the way in general. Yeah. And he went to Regal and he got his steel cage match. So, yeah. I don't know. I will give them this credit. The way they've built Bronson Reed, I really don't know who's going to win next week. Because, again, steel cage matches, again, it just presents opportunities for the heel to be Weasley and find a way to escape.
Yeah, dude, I'll never understand that wrestling logic of like, hey, you have a faction that keeps helping you win matches? Ha, I know the trump card to that. Steel cage. Wait a minute, why is he climbing up the chains? Wait, why is he helping you win anyway? Wait, this isn't how this was supposed to go! No!
Oh, what's that? I found a way for my faction to help me again. In the immortal words of Pat McAfee, sucks to suck. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's. I feel like really contemporary wrestling promotions need to do a better job of subverting tropes and advancing tropes. Like, wrestlers today have been watching wrestling for 15 plus years for the most part. And they fucking know that this shit doesn't work. So why do they still do it anyway? They need to be written smarter.
They do. They do. I think it begins by getting your face more involved, personally. I've been advocating for that for a while. But given that that's probably not going to happen anytime soon, I guess they're just going to remain at the current intelligence
level. By the way,
that
since we're talking about the Bronson Reed promo and we've got the main event next, did you bring up the weird, quirky little video for the Way?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I literally just talked about that, and that's how I tied in. Like, we didn't get in here on the show with Index, because you're talking about the whole superhero thing, right?
Okay, yeah. I thought it was adorable, though. I just thought it was so cute.
Yeah, dude, the Way, again, sans Theory, who's the adopted child that nobody wanted, but it's like, if we take it, it makes us look good, I guess.
I wish I could say Theory's harmless, but I don't know. There are rumors that he's not.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, I'm going to be truthful, even if, like, that was just it. They were rumors, they were unsubstantiated, whatever. He still sucks. Like, I really, I just do not like him at all. He just doesn't do it for me.
I don't know. So, I feel like his character work, he's kind of dialing it in lately. I feel like he's doing better lately.
We'll see.
Is that bar lowering that I'm being, like, softer on, like, him and Reed, and you're just like, no, they still suck, fuck them?
No, if anything, maybe I'm too stubborn. I don't think it's you getting softer. Maybe it's just me being too stubborn. But then again, I don't want to be apologetic because everybody has a right to their opinions, and I don't think mine are, like, malicious. I don't go so hard in, like, never watch these guys, although I probably say that more about Theory than Reed. But yeah, they're not doing it for me, at all. And hey, if they're dialing it in for you, brother, that's why we have two people here instead of one. Nobody likes to hear a monolith. So after that, we get our main event, Kushida versus, and because I got it right the first time, I'm going to stay consistent, Kushida versus Daddy, a.k.a. Santos Escobar. And Ashton, if you wouldn't mind, just give us your personal dissertation on why Escobar is perfect, just to start this review of the match here. I thought we'd let you go first.
This is an audio-only podcast. I can't show a picture of him.
I know. We should change the background to NXT reviews, just the best picture of Escobar. We should do the one where he's holding half a cookie, just kind of interacting with Saturday, because Saturday's posing with all this food, and then he did the hashtag Santos with half a cookie, and I quote tweeted that. I said he's posing with half a cookie because he knows it's a whole snack. So, like, congratulations, Mark. Fractions are fun again. But yeah, dude, like, in all seriousness, I did want you to go first on this match, but just kind of give a jump start. I'm just going to reiterate to you here what I said to you before we went live. I loved how they just really booked Escobar in this, for the most part. So how did you feel about this match on the whole?
I'm not the biggest Kushida fan, and he did have some bullshit in this match where, like, he goes for a move and Escobar avoids it. But wait, there's more, because Kushida knew you would avoid that, and he comes right back at you with another move that hits you.
Holy shit.
I hate that shit so much, dude. It's like... again, it brings me back to, like, the kids on the playground and they're playing battleships and the one's just like, pew, 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 I hit you, and the other kid's just like, no, I dodged it.
Yeah.
That's Kushida to me. It's so frustrating. And, like, and there's also, like, the element of, like, just the stubbornness of, like, oh, I'm going to lock you in the submission, you're going to get to the rope, but then I'm going to back us into the middle, and then you're going to get to the rope again because you're a warrior and you fight through this with pride and with legacy, and then you're going to get to the rope, and then you're going to get up to your feet, and you're just going to get to the corner, and you're going to drive me into the corner, and then it's just not going to matter anyway because I'm just going to keep it locked in and make you tap out. Fuck you.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't know if it's just indicative of how poorly portrayed Kushida is when he's on his bullshit, to your point, but, like, and again, maybe it's just me, because we're kind of talking about, like, are we changing for better or worse? Do you feel like I'm reading too much into it, that if you watch this matchup without context, you would almost feel like even if Escobar was the heel going into it, he'd turn face next week? Because I feel like this is a really babyface performance from him in parts.
It was like a gutsy performance, but I don't think every gutsy performance necessarily needs to be a babyface performance, you know?
And I do agree with you there. I do agree with you there. I just feel like, because didn't he beat Kushida clean in the first fall? Because he got
with
the Phantom
like a roll
Driver.
up though, with like a roll. It was like a fluky, like caught you roll up kind of thing.
No, wasn't it the Phantom Driver though that he caught him with?
Oh shit! I must have missed that.
Yeah, like he got him with the Phantom Driver, and then he had a bit of trouble like pinning him because I think Kushida was a bit tight in the ropes, but he got a legal pin, and that was a 3 count.
Oh wow!
So yeah, he beat him definitively to me, and that's why I keep talking about how they protected Escobar, because he beat Kushida in the first fall. If this was a standard rematch, Escobar would have just been the new cruiserweight champion right there. And then in the third fall, I love that he was in the hoverboard lock for a considerable amount of time, and like he just didn't tap out.
Yeah.
He got to the ropes.
Well, that brings me back to like the Kushida being stubborn thing, because it's also like Escobar is a fucking warrior.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you removed it from its context,
right,
I would think, wow, either Escobar just turned face or he's going to turn face in the coming weeks. And, like, I don't know. Maybe he would almost have to, because I don't want to see him get in the ring with Cross again, only because of how it went last time. But a babyface Escobar doing it, I still wouldn't want to see it, but I'd cheer my heart out for him. I mean, I'd do it regardless, but, like, especially as a sympathetic face. And on Twitter, too, he's been, like, really open about how much he loves his son and everything I do for you. So it's like, he's turning babyface, at least in my heart. Like,
he's always awesome. A babyface in your heart because he's attractive.
I mean, okay, 95% of that is correct. What I would challenge the other 5%, it's not just that he's attractive, just in the superficial sense. He's just attractive as just a human being because he's so fucking good at what he does. I watch this dude work, and I'm like, literally, dude, how are you better than everyone else? I don't understand. It's
that vibe, though, that was so good.
Like, I
love how casually you just suggested he's the best in the company.
Yeah, I mean, dude, to me, on some real shit, he's got to be top 5. At least. I think top 3, if we're having a sincere discussion, might be stretching it a bit, but in WWE
now, when you say in the whole company, are you talking about all of WWE or just specifically NXT?
Possibly all of WWE, definitely NXT, though. Like, possibly, I'd be willing to debate and have an open mind be changed. Definitely in NXT, though. Like, without question. Like, he is definitely one of the top acts in NXT. I would fight somebody on that.
Oh, you're just saying top acts. I thought you were specifically saying in the ring.
In the ring, there's definitely more competition if you take in the whole of WWE. But even in NXT in the ring, I think I'd fight somebody on that a little bit.
I think top 5 is like borderline. Like he's right around that like 4 to 7 range in NXT, I would say. Strictly on the in-ring front. When you take character into account, he's top 2 in NXT.
Yeah. And I think
maybe top 3 if we include the women because of VO.
And see, dude, I think when you put all of that together, though, you still have a guy that's such an amazing fucking package. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I adore this dude. I really do, and I hope this is.
I just thought of something. Maybe even 4 because Swerve might have pulled ahead of him with this promo tonight.
He might have. It really depends, dude. Because I agree with you.
Because I think Swerve is unequivocally better than Santos just in the ring, but like. You get him to put a character together. Ooh.
See, like, oh man, I feel like a really spirited discussion could happen here, but we're already so deep in the review. Because, like, I agree with you on one level. Sometimes, though, I feel like Escobar really is the best at, like, those character beats in the ring. Like, again, that mask loaded with courage and tradition when he used to do that shit. Or just, again,
didn't he do that one time?
I feel like he's done it twice. I feel like I've seen him do it twice. But either way, it's not that much. But what I was going to say to follow that up on was that, like, commentary even notes, like, oh, what a great strategist he is and this and that. Right. I feel like he really does well as a character, demonstrating, like, yeah, I've got a really high ring IQ, get fucked kind of thing. Whereas Swerve, and I've always said this, and I'm not going to backtrack now, even though I adore Escobar, he is one of the most innovative workers because I don't think anybody moves in wrestling the way that he does.
Yeah.
The way that he moves.
That's kind of my thing. Like, I feel like Swerve, like, even if you think that just from like a fundamental standpoint, he's not as good as Escobar, he earns extra credit with the shit that he does that nobody else does.
Now, I will say, in just my personal opinion, and I love Swerve, but especially if we're going by just kind of the cliches of pro wrestling, like who are the really jack-looking guys, can kick your ass, stuff like that. Like, Escobar looks to me far more of like a poster boy world champion type than Swerve does to me.
Really?
Personally, I think so.
That's interesting.
Yeah, just my opinion. I think Swerve
he's more built like chiseled out.
Yeah, like I think if you put
Whereas
Santos,
Swerve has more of like a lean build.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I still think Swerve would make a great world champion, but I think there's a difference between a world champion and a top guy. Like, Kofi Kingston was a world champion. I never could have bought Kofi personally as a top guy. Even though New Day fucking sold merch like hotcakes.
See, I could buy Swerve as a top guy, though, personally. I mean, maybe he would have to put on like 10, 15 pounds of muscle to really like be completely like captured in that role, but to me, just because of the charisma and the appeal and the magneticism that he has, I think he's top guy material already.
Yeah, and that's fair, dude. That's absolutely fair, because I think his work in Lucha Underground and elsewhere speaks for itself. Yeah. I just look at Santos, and we've said it before, I think the dude is leagues ahead of fucking Del Rio when he was kind of the guy, and God knows when they tried to make him a face, it was a fucking dumpster fire. Whereas I feel like with Santos, there's a real sincerity to the dude, and like, you could talk about the pride he takes in it, and I don't think it would be schmaltzy like it is with Ray at times. And fucking Andrade in ring, the dude's really good. I'm really questioning some of his choices at present. I've been vocal about that. But, Santos, to me, he might pull ahead of these guys. And it only depends, though, if WWE wants him to. And I really hope they do. So yeah, I thought this match was great, and for no other reason, it really protected Escobar, and I'm fascinated about where he goes from here. And what I love about the conversation we just had, no matter what side you guys fall on, whether you're an Escobar guy, a Swerve guy, if you like both, I think the best option is always to like both, because there's definitely room for everybody.
Yeah, like I think to me right now, the top 4 acts in NXT are those 2 guys, Io and Finn. Like I think, really, you could put those 4 in any order, and it would be a genuinely like heartily debated topic, because it's like those 4 are on a level above everyone else right now, in my opinion.
See, and I would absolutely agree with you. And coming in at 5th, just like really coming in the clutch for rounding out a top 5, for me would be Johnny Gargano at present.
Right, that's true. That's true. That's a really strong top 5. You're right.
Yeah. Like I actually agree wholeheartedly with your list. I have no contentions with that. But yeah,
although we haven't seen Io in a while, so it's kind of hard to keep her in that list when it's just like she hasn't been around.
But you know what, dude? When she shows back up, there's going to be fucking noise made, because like everybody's going to be like, oh, she's here. It's going to be the rematch with Raquel. Like, what
I was a little surprised that she didn't show up after the Raquel Mercedes match. Maybe they just didn't want to feel too repetitive with Finn showing up in the opening segment after Cross's match.
That's true. I mean, dude, for all we know, maybe it will be Io returning to challenge Raquel in your house, because that is the event where Io won the title in the first place.
Yep, I could see it.
Yeah. So I love that discussion we had, though, because like they're 2 exemplary performers. Again, for those that just came in, we're talking about Swerve and Escobar. They're 2 exemplary performers that are really taking 2 different directions, because while it seems like Swerve is on the ascent, having hit Rogue, and by the way, I didn't stress this enough the first time actually talking about it, so I just want to say it here. I fucking love that name. I love that name.
It's so good. It's so different, and I love that it's a double, what's the word, John? A double...
Entendre?
Thank you! Double entendre, yeah. Because it works as far as, like, hits. Like, we produce hits because we make music, we make rap songs, we make actual hits. But also, we'll hit you in the fucking mouth. We produce those kinds of hits, too.
Yeah. Dude, it's stellar. It's freaking stellar. And Escobar, here's the thing. Escobar's on the descent in one way because he's not the top cruiserweight anymore, but I'm really fucking hoping that it's like, you know what? I made the cruiserweight division. Like, who main evented with Kushida? Not fucking Tyler Rust, who I think would count as a cruiserweight, or fucking whoever the fuck.
No way, dude. Rust is like 230.
Oh, is he 230? We need more Tyler Rust anyway, by the way. That is a nitpick for me. Where the fuck is Malcolm Bivens? And where the fuck is Tyler Rust?
Oh, what the hell? I just Googled him and he's listed at 185? There's no way. Wikipedia, you're high. What?
Does 205 Live have a roster page? Because I'd be curious, like, if he'd be listed on there.
That's a good question, actually. Why don't I just find his WWE.com profile? And then it'll tell me what show he's on.
Yeah.
Wait, does he not have one? What the hell?
Oh my god.
Superstars. Search. Rust.
No, he's got to be above 205 because he's not on the 205 Live roster page. So.
He's not listed at all?
What? Did he get released?
He's on any roster page. What the shit?
How is he not on the NXT roster page?
I'm extremely perturbed right now.
Yeah.
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 It goes Tony Nese, Tyler Breeze, Vanessa Bourne. There's no Tyler Rust.
Okay, well, that's something else to be peeved about. I love how Javaris emphasized the point. Where the fuck is Tyler Rust?
Swerve and Joaquin Wilde and Oni Lorcan and Raul Mendoza and Santos Escobar are all listed on the 205 Live roster, but Rust isn't.
What the fuck? But anyway, it shows you how little attention I pay to 205 Live when I can barely even name cruiserweights. But that's because none of them got.
What do you mean? You don't know who Ikemen Jiro is, and you don't know who August Gray is? Come on, man! You got to be up with the times.
Yeah, I'm old. I know some of us. Yeah.
Do you know who? Oh, what was it? Ari. Oh shit! I forgot his last name.
Are you talking about Arya Davari or somebody else?
No, it's not Arya Davari. It's a new guy. His name is Ari Sterling. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, I don't know these people because they're not.
Well,
Santos.
You do know Ari Sterling because he used to be Alex Zane.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what all those guys have in common? They never got the cruiserweight title of the main event of NXT. Escobar did. Escobar
to be fair, neither did more established cruiserweights like Brian Kendrick and Tony Nese, etc., etc.
Yeah, I love Kendrick, so I'll kind of keep him out of this. But as far as Nese, I mean, maybe he should have sucked less. I don't know. That sounds like a good problem.
Ow! I mean, neither did Buddy Murphy. To be fair, come on.
Well, then again, do I prefer Santos to Buddy Murphy? No, because I know when Buddy Murphy's on his A game, he's really fucking good, actually. And WWE just needs to let him show it more often. But anyway, point fucking being, he's fucking great. I want him in the main event scene. Let's make it fucking happen. Anything else you want to say about this episode of NXT?
Face.
I figured. High spots and low shots. My low shot... God. You know what? My low shot's Johnny Gargano. Because kayfabe-wise, his guy, Austin Theory, got the shit beat out of him by fucking Cross.
Really? Austin Theory should be the low shot because he lost the match to Cross. And I'll take Austin Theory if you're taking Gargano, just because he lost the match to Cross, and he's gonna hear a whole hell of a lot from Papa Gargano, Papa John calls him, because of the fact that their assault on Reed is what caused the match to be turned into a steel cage match, and Johnny's not gonna take any kind of responsibility for that. So it's obviously entirely Theory's fault.
Now, while I think it's definitely good parenting on Johnny's part to blame things on Austin Theory that he may not even be entirely responsible for, we do need to remember. You all right there? We do need to remember that Johnny was a willing participant in that beatdown. So part of him thought it was a good idea. It would have even been funnier to be like, Theory, what are you doing? I attacked Bronson Reed. No, now he's going to be angry. Now he's going to go to Regal. You know Regal's against me. I'm sorry, I've been watching Sammy's documentary. It's got some really good points in there. Let's go. And, that would have been interesting. But no, Johnny was a willing participant in this. He knew what he was doing. But no, that's why...
But he's Johnny Gargano. He's gonna change it. He's gonna make it seem like the thing that you just played out that didn't happen is exactly what happened.
I mean... Don't I respect that, though? Remind me what I am. Do I respect that or not? Because I'm literally doing... Because because like we've said so much between each other that I kind of lost the thread a little bit, and I'm like, wait a minute, is proud the appropriate response, or is it disgusting? Like
you're giving him your low shot. You're giving him your low shot.
Oh right. Okay. So yeah, disappointed. Thank you. So yeah, it's just really rough because Theory gets the shit beat out of him, and then he attacks Bronson Reed thinking, yeah, Papa John, and he's feeling himself, and then Bronson Reed's like, well, I went to Regal, and I gotta go get it, and Johnny's probably thinking, that tattletale, Austin, the hell happened? So yeah, just a rough night for the North American champion. So you already made Theory your low shot. Who's your high spot? I'll let you go first on that.
Swerve. Can we just agree? Like Swerve and the Hit Row are the high spot tonight?
I mean, there's so many reasons to agree. One being your face, and two being Swerve's face.
Well, and the alternative high spots are like MSK, Kushida, and fucking Cross, and or Mercedes, or Raquel. Like, no thanks to any of them.
Yeah, like, do I want to be difficult or do I want to be right? And anybody that knows me knows this is a difficult choice. It's a really difficult choice.
Why is it hard? What?
Because I love being difficult and hearing you sigh inside.
You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah, see? That's why you left, because you're like, oh my god, I hate how true that is. It's making me nervous. But you know what? Though? In all sincerity, Hit Row fucking killed it tonight. I gotta give it to Swerve. I'm joining you on that one.
Yeah.
I have no qualms joining you on that. Cliff, I'm gonna respond to that real quick. MSK is great, but for me personally, I think they got pushed way too fast. I still wish GYV were tag champions right now.
So, just to air my opinion on this, I love MSK. I think they're great. I just feel like them winning a non-title match, I'm pretty sure, against Brizango, and then getting barely any measure of revenge on LDF, and then getting ejected from ringside right away isn't really high spot material, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm actually going to be in agreement with your face. That's got to make you feel good.
Oh, and also it's worth noting that Nash Carter said something, I don't know if it was over the weekend, but he said something recently about, if you don't grow at the Performance Center, that's on you. And I'm just like, wow, fuck you, man.
Oh, wow, really? He's one of those? God damn it. Why every time? Like, this is why I can't love anymore. This shit right here.
I tell you what, I've been a little sus on Nash Carter since they showed up, and I don't know. There's something off about that dude. There's just something about him that I don't like. And then he says shit, and I'm just like, wow. You're just really giving me reason to believe my own sort of weird biases against you now.
Yeah, like, god damn it, man. You really had to be the bootstraps type? Like, I'm sorry you weren't cut out for this.
It's like some Seth shit. It's like some Survivor bias shit. Like, when you get favorable treatment, you don't realize that there are people who don't get that and try just as hard as you, and it just doesn't fucking matter.
Did the tweet get ratioed at least?
I don't know if it was a tweet. I think it was a quote from an interview or something.
Oh god, so we played it safe. Because I would have loved to have seen that tweet get ratioed. But yeah, man, fuck that mentality, man. But yeah, fucking Swerve, Hit Row, I'm all about it. I can't wait to hear more bars. That's the easiest fucking cosign I think we've had in a long time on TWitWoW. I know we always try and be different and pick other people, but I'm sure as fuck not picking QAnon Cross. Fucking kill me first. So yeah, Swerve gets it. That was a pretty easy W for him, and I'm hoping he's going to get a lot of easy W's going forward.
Yeah.
With that said, guys, oh man, that fucking last few minutes.
I fucking love Swerve, and nothing changes that. I just gotta say though, because every time I feel like we bring him up, we also talk about his Lucha Underground run. Fuck, I miss AR Fox. God damn it.
Yeah. God, that Foxcatcher finisher is still one of my favorite finishes ever. Like,
dude,
oh
just
my God.
Everything about him, he's so talented, and like, no major wrestling company in the world is gonna touch him for something. Like, I think he might have been like a stripper at some point. Like, there are dudes with worse pasts than him, and fucking Teddy Hart still finds employment, for Christ's sakes. Like, Fox is like stuck in like shitty little shantytown indies in fucking Texas and shit. Like, come on, man.
Imagine a world so unfair that conspiracy theorists get platformed, potential fucking child predators get fucking platformed, and all this garbage just gets platformed, and yet being a sex worker, perfectly consensual, above board, everything, you get blackballed. Oh, don't like
Can
that
I ask
world?
you a
Unfortunately,
question,
that's
by
the
the
world we
way?
live in. Sure.
Do you know who's older between AR Fox and Swerve?
Is it Swerve?
Who's older, I'm saying. Who's older?
Oh, no, you're actually asking me. You're not testing me. I don't know. I don't know who's older between the two.
So I just looked it up. Swerve's only 30 years old. Did you know that?
Wow. I thought Swerve would have at least been 33 at least. I'm surprised.
Well, 33 is actually exactly how old AR Fox is.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so they're both younger than Escobar. They're both younger than Kushida, I think. Like, they're both really young.
Damn. That's wild, bro.
Crazy, yeah. So talented.
Yeah, but so yeah, that's unfortunately the world that we live in. Because I've heard the same thing, that AR Fox used to be like a stripper or something. And again, if WWE wants to fucking moralize about shit like that, or any company for that matter, when we know who gets a pass in pro wrestling culture, fuck all the way off. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for the stigmatization of sex work and the fucking sex work shaming. Grow the fuck up. People enjoy sex. People have sex. That's how you're fucking here, so get over it.
Dude, great news in chat. Apparently Patrick Clark might be getting called up to Raw, so we will have to deal with him.
That's true, because we don't watch that show anymore.
No, we don't. We only play Among Us on Monday nights. We only watch NXT and SmackDown from WWE.
Amazing. Fucking amazing.
Oh, man. What a relief that is. It's just a shame they're probably going to draft him over to SmackDown in October when the draft comes around.
Oh, fuck me. Why does this timeline continue to be such ass? Regardless, everyone, I don't even know what to say anymore, okay? You know what it is. This is hell. We make it a little bit better, and I guess with that I can do the more proper outro of, this has been NXT, this has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my core and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the videos you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up with all that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box, starting with our Patreon. If you want your own TWitWoW request live, I feel like we did that, what was it, Ashton, just last Wednesday, was it? For Blood and Guts, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, that was the most recent one we did. If you want your own TWitWoW request live, look at our price breakdowns in the Patreon. Of course, the two offerings I like to talk about at length. First off, additional Q&A questions for $1. Q&A this month is May 27th, because we do Q&A the last Thursday of every month. That for this month is May 27th. You can submit your Q&A questions YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and I'll get to the Discord in a moment. Non-Patreon donors only get 3 Q&A questions, but if you donate $1, one George Washington, you get 2 additional Q&A questions for a total of 5 questions, when 3 ain't enough. So please consider doing that. Of course, if you want the premium TWitWoW deal, I would suggest donating $3, because you get the additional Q&A questions, but you also get access to the TWitWoW Discord.
Just throw a Thomas Jefferson in on top of that George Washington.
Look at you styling on the currency. What the fuck is happening?
Did you know that Jefferson was on the $2 note?
No, so TIL. See, again, I'm telling you all.
College, fuck college, go to TWitWoW instead.
You beat me to it, man, and you did it better, I must say. So, yeah, absolutely. So you get access to the TWitWoW Discord. Great community, great people, I say it all the time, and we do Among Us Mondays, because we're cool like that, we're ahead of the curve. Other streamers aren't doing this, what the fuck are you talking about? Fuck you. So yeah, please donate $3. I swear I'm not this antagonistic all the time. So, do consider doing that. Follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is pretty much a hub for Q&A questions. Some people like to post 3 separate tweets for 3 separate questions, when I'm pretty sure the character limit, you could fit them all in there. But that's okay. My eye, the twitch that it develops, it subsides on its own. But yeah, just reply to that tweet. That's the hub for Q&A questions. You can get all your questions there. And what else? Oh yeah, your pin tweet. We've got to talk about your pin tweet too, because your pin tweet is the recording
Is
schedule.
explicitly not for Q&A questions. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right, because those same people will sometimes reply with Q&A questions when
to
we
be
say...
fair, it's really only one person. It's just Mets that did it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I wasn't going to name names, but since you did, yeah, Matt, it's like, how long have you been watching the show, bro? Come on now. But Ashton's pin tweet is still beautiful in its own way, because it's the 12-hour recording schedule for every month that we're in, and since this is May, he's got the recording schedule for the month of May. Now, today was the 11th, so let's talk about what we have on the docket. I don't know how much of this has changed. Are we still on course for the 5-9 show tomorrow at 5?
Fuck if I know, man.
I mean, okay, honestly, 30% in love with the tone because it was accurate. But we know that Japan is kind of at an emergency situation, so we don't know what all is, like, fucking
I thought
happening.
we'd be able to do the 5-8 show by today, but that shit ain't up at all. None of it is.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say tentatively, guys, that I think we're going to be off tomorrow, honestly, the way that it's looking right now.
Well,
obviously,
we've got the next 2 days, and I'm assuming that one or both of the Stardom 5-8 and 5-9 shows will be up at some point within the next 2 or 3 days. And
yes.
5 at 5 on whatever day it's up. But until it's up, we can't react to it, you know?
Exactly. We can't react to what doesn't exist. I know we're amazing, but even we have limits. Yeah. So, let's just go through, I guess, the rest of what we know for sure, because Stardom's up in the air. But what we do know for sure is Friday the 14th. Sorry, Jason Voorhees. We're going to be doing our SmackDown review at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Saturday at 10, we're going to be doing our Backlash preview and predictions. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I feel like on one of those 2 days, we're probably going to be doing a Stardom show because of the backlog. I just have that gut feeling. But again, we'll tweet out any updates with the schedule. So for right now, all we have is SmackDown review at 10 on Friday, preview and predictions at 10 on Saturday, and then Sunday, May 16th, it's WrestleMania Backlash live reactions at 7. So that's it for the week. Again, I would expect some shakeups for this week because Stardom is kind of in a weird place. We'll update accordingly. So most immediately, guys, I'm just going to say most immediately, we'll see you Friday for SmackDown until that changes. So
that's
until
at
then,
the absolute latest.
Exactly. Listen to this man's face. He said latest. So it's probably going to change. But until then, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, as always, you guys, for your support. You're all beautiful. You're all wonderful. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And until we see each other again, tune in and peace out.